Imagine buying a boat, no survey, no sea trial, literally never starting the engine. That is exactly what we've done. And today we're gonna reveal the boat. We're gonna show you some of the biggest features that drew us to her, some of her biggest flaws, and share the story behind the riskiest decision we've ever made.
So we've been on the hunt for a boat this year, and after years of sailing in the tropics, we wanted a vessel capable of going further, into ice and fog and across oceans that most people don't want to endure. But high latitude exploration demands something different. We need strength and range and reliability over romance. And we have tested and toured all sorts of vessels, and we finally figured out what we wanted, and we outlined that in our last video. We had narrowed it down to a few possible vessels, but there was one outlier.
This boat was completely out of our budget, and because of that, it ticked way more boxes than any other vessel we'd been looking at. And call it fate or whatever, but this boat was about to go up for auction. And here she is, our adventure home. No, I'm just joking. This is the always elusive, one-of-a-kind Yeti. Now, of course, we'll change her name eventually, but this is all happening so fast. We're still dealing with registration, insurance, documentation, so it will come in due time. Welcome aboard.
This is a 50-foot Explorer yacht, and you may remember we toured this vessel very briefly a few months ago, but we were not seriously looking at it. We even sort of jokingly said we could technically put it a lowball offer. Doesn't mean we'd actually get it, but you know, you might get lucky. And ever since that day, we could not get this vessel or the possibility of it out of our heads. So we started digging for more information. We asked for more photos. We talked to the owner, designer, and the architect. And the more that we learned, the more that we liked it. And it really had to do with just the overall construction of the vessel, because it was always built as an explorer yacht. It is a thick-gauged aluminum hull, and it has an ice-rated bottom paint, and it's got cork decking, which is a better insulator, so it helps keep things warmer or cooler depending on the temperature that you're in, especially versus say like a teak decking. We have got double glazed windows that are reverse raked. We definitely learned we like the reverse raking and the brow because it helps create a little bit of shading, so it keeps the pilot house cooler in hot temperatures, that keeps the glare down, and of course for spray and water coming over, it's just not even going to be an issue.
So right after the build quality is the autonomy that this vessel brings. So it was actually designed and reinforced for a kite, so it can take advantage of the wind to move this boat. Now, while we don't have the kite yet, we've got some research to do there. At least knowing that it was designed and reinforced is huge. And then speaking of wind, there are 2 wind turbines up there. And to be honest, I haven't always been a fan of wind turbines because they're loud and they can really jiggle a lot.
Can you turn that noisy beast off again?
But in this instance, it is purpose-built because we are going to the Arctic. Not every day is sunny. As you can see, there's quite a lot of clouds. And when there's clouds, often there's wind. So for this specific adventure, I think wind is going to be awesome. And then of course, there's 1600 watts of solar. They're rigid panels. They have space in between. So whether they're getting hot, there's air gap, and there's actually ventilation in there to move the air under the solar panels. So they should be supremely efficient. And what boggles my mind is that most of the boats we stepped on, it's like the manufacturers had never even considered solar. Like it never crossed their minds when they were building the boats. I think the general mindset in the past was run the generator, run the engine, don't worry about it. But now, like being on Mike's boat, he installed a few solar panels and it completely changed the way that he ran his boat. He almost never turns on his generator, only to run the crane. Otherwise, he lives off of the solar. And that's pretty awesome. Speaking of awesome, yeah, right where Nikki is, I never thought we would own a yacht with a helipad. I mean, no, seriously though, people left comments in the tour video that we did saying, oh, it's not safe. You know, you can't land a helicopter there. It's not big enough. Guys, is just cheeky. It's, I think it even says in the brochure, it's like a drone helipad. So maybe.
We have a drone helipad.
Hey, maybe in the future, like the Jetsons, there could be a briefcase helipad, yeah. You know? Okay, let's go inside where it's warm. So it has a robust electrical system and great inverters, great solar controllers, like everything is top notch. I'm very happy with it. The only downside is they installed AGM batteries. It's a huge battery bank. I mean, it's a really good sized battery bank. And we've pulled the plug. We've stayed on it for more than 24 hours, running everything with no solar. The wind turbines are turned off, and we've lasted for more than 24 hours, and that's pretty darn good. But if we had lithium, we should be able to go for 72 or
Longer.
Geez,
Yeah.
much longer if there was sun and wind.
And the first thing you are greeted with is the galley, which I do like on this boat because it is nice and big. I've got so much room to work inside of here. And my favorite is the biggest refrigerator I have ever had on a boat, which makes me so happy. We are gonna have food, I would say food for days, but no. This is gonna be like food for weeks and weeks. It's incredible. The whole thing is refrigerator. The freezer, well, that's downstairs. But this is huge. Also, the biggest indicator with all of the plastic still on it, which we have also not had time to remove yet. That's how fast all of this has gone. But there was plastic in the refrigerator. There was all the packing materials were still in the oven and in the dishwasher. Yes, there is a dishwasher. That lets you know how new this boat is. So it is a 2023, and it was delivered in like summer of 2023, about 2.5 years ago. And that was sort of it. It has been essentially just shuffled around this marina ever since then. And that is because the owner, who is from Sweden, had built this to be his personal boat and a demo boat because he was going to sell more of them. But unfortunately, the war broke out in Ukraine and it canceled all the boat shows and just changed everything. So it became a bit of a hard time to start a new brand. Decided to put this up for sale eventually. And of course, that kind of led it to us. And that means we have gotten a brand new boat that has never been used. And there's good and bad to that. Good, it's brand new. That's great. The bad thing that nothing has been used and it's been sitting, and boats don't love to necessarily sit. So we get to be the first people to use everything, which has been good and bad. First thing that Jason got to deal with was his dishwasher.
First project on the boat, and maybe the most important one because it's the dishwasher. And I thought for a minute I might have to get rid of it, and if I had to get rid of it, Nikki would replace it with storage. So it was like my life depended on it. I've spent like 8 hours researching this dishwasher and going through all the troubleshooting in the manual, and what it turns out.
Well, what was the problem?
I'll spare you. That's what I'm about to show you.
Oh, okay.
What it turns out, after blowing all the hose and doing all the stuff, there was a freaking plug. No, this is the drain spout, and there was a plug in there that probably came like that from the factory, and they put the hose over it, and instead of draining the water from the dishwasher, it was just getting stopped, and I could not figure it out. And it just seems so silly that it took me 8 or 10 hours, but that's just boat life. And the really cool thing is, I ran one entire load, and it uses exactly 3 gallons of water. It's not too bad.
On that particular setting, who knows? I'm sure there's a more eco-friendly one.
Oh, yeah, it's not too bad.
No, not at all.
Okay, so now I'm going to take this plug out and use our dishwasher.
So don't you know, not having a functioning dishwasher on day one was not a good start. It was we are already having emotions, kind of touch and go of what have we gotten ourselves into? Was this a horrible mistake? We have not tested anything on it. We have no idea what's going to work and not work. When the dishwasher didn't function, everything else came to a pause. Not like, hey, let's start the engine or anything else. No. Let's troubleshoot the dishwasher because I need the dishwasher to work. That was what Jason was thinking. And this was kind of an interesting little conundrum, not for the boat, but more just a of the time kind of thing, because we had to download an app because there was no error codes that were coming on the dishwasher. So we had to download an app, register the device in order to see what was going on in the back end. And it's not just the dishwasher. Our refrigerator also has an app. Like if you want to change settings or see what's going on, same exact thing. And then of course you go to the grocery store. You want to take advantage of the sale prices, you're going to have to become a member and sign up for the app. Like it's insane. Everything requires an app or additional services these days, which is a bit of a pain, but I suppose a necessary evil. And it makes me very thankful for today's sponsor, which is Surfshark VPN, because while we have spent a ton of time parked in front of our computers and in front of our phones registering devices and signing up for services, we haven't had to give out any of our own personal information. So if any one of these companies has a data breach or decides to sell our information off to spammers, like, doesn't really matter, because Surfshark has a feature called Alternative ID. So I have created my European persona, and her name is Marina Docks, but you can call her Marina for short. She is a 32-year-old from Denmark, and she even has her own email address. But her emails automatically get forwarded to my real inbox. So whenever she gets verification codes or login confirmations, I actually get those. So I can still sign up for all the apps and services, but without giving away any of my personal information. So if Marina all of a sudden starts getting a whole bunch of junk or spam, I can just delete that fake ID and start a new one. Say maybe a meteorologist from Germany named Windy Gusts. No, but seriously, there are a lot of other perks to having a good VPN, like being able to avoid geo restrictions on certain websites or unblock our favorite streaming content. It is seriously an invaluable tool for us as travelers. And right now, if you go to surfshark.com/wins or use code WINS at checkout, then you will get 4 extra months of Surfshark for free. And if you're not sure if it's going to be a good tool for you, no worries. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk to try it out. You can just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link down in the description box below.
Moving forward, this boat definitely has like catamaran vibes. And if you saw our original tour video, you know that these counters lift up. There's a queen size bed in both sides and individual heads, which kind of leads me to the fact that this boat really punches up. It has the amenities of a 60-foot-ish boat in the compact size of a 50-foot boat. Of course, there's compromises with that, but that's one of my favorite things, is the fact that we can have friends and family join us. They have their own beds. They're not crammed into bunks. Stepping up, we have this area, huge ceilings, bright, open, airy, and the lounge is just, that's not a seat. That's the lounge is like the biggest lounge we've ever had in a boat. Massive TV, sound bar, surround sound, all of that. I absolutely love the look and feel, and I know it might be kind of silly, but all the recessed lighting, the indirect lighting, I guess you can say, really gives the boat a nice feel. The real wood, light. Anyway, I like it. I like it a lot. Coming up to our captain's chairs and the helm. I really dig the 2 captain's chairs. And one thing we found being on a lot of different trawlers is whoever's on watch spends most of their time with their neck this way, talking to everybody, because everybody's hanging out back in this area. So at least in this vessel, we can sit side by side. You've got a co-captain with you. It's just like a long road trip. You know, it's nice to have someone with you to converse. It just makes the time pass a lot more quickly, as long as you like the person, I guess. Because if you don't, then they can get the heck out of here. And then look at this, all new equipment. We're not lacking anything. Forward scanning sonar. We have the little FU controller. I forgot what it's called. Follow-up controller here. Yeah, no wheel. It has everything we wanted. Bow and stern thrusters. I can't tell you how many boats we looked at that needed a full refit. Like all the electronics would have had to been upgraded, and that's just a nightmare and a half. And of course, the view. We've got a great view here. We can see very clearly all around. And there's 2 more Helm Stations. There's one on the top and one on the aft starboard side. So we've got all the options. The only thing this doesn't have is stabilizers. So we are researching fin stabilizers and gyro stabilizers, and that will be probably one of our first major upgrades.
Down into the main cabin. It is really nice to be able to walk around the bed, and making the bed is so much easier. We've never had that. We've always had walls all the way around us, but that's really not what I came in here for. And this was one of those things that was not a feature that drew us to the boat. This was more of a surprise when we got here. And it was a good surprise, not a bad surprise, but the toilet. I know this may seem silly, but if you have ever owned a boat, you know toilets are a very, very real thing. And these toilets, it's a Vids toilet. I didn't even know they made toilets. I shouldn't be surprised. They make flipping everything you need for a boat. But it is such a quiet toilet, and it is very seemingly water efficient. Doesn't seem to use a lot. I did look up in the little manual. It told me how many liters. Don't ask me to repeat it right now. But on our last set of toilets, they were aggressive and loud. And if you accidentally bumped the sensor and hit the flush button while you were sitting there, it was like a full-on misty shower, or as Jason likes to call, a very dirty bidet. So anyway, it seems silly, but I actually really like the toilets in this boat. They seem very nice. Didn't know it was gonna be a thing, but there it is.
So I saved the biggest compromise for last. And there's no such thing as a perfect boat. We've said it a million times. Everybody knows it. I mean, I think even if you ask like Jeff Bezos, is his boat perfect? He'll probably tell you no. There's gotta be something, right?
Maybe.
And maybe. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I would assume he's got something to gripe about. Ours is with the engine. Ah, yes, the davits. Hold on, before the engine. One thing about this boat is it has davits and it has a crane. I don't know what you call this thing that's up there. It's sort of like a crane, a lift.
Yeah.
Most of the trawlers and Explorer yachts we're seeing only had something up top. So you had to bring your boat all the way on the roof every time. For us, we're using our tender often. Just pulling it up on davits, it just saves a lot of hassle, a lot of headache, I think, to have it right here. Why take it up all the way on the roof? So I think this is a really neat feature that I totally dig. Now, the engine. This is a Volvo Penta D6 340. 340 horsepower. This is a long-range Explorer yacht. It has supposedly, I'm just saying supposedly because we haven't tried it yet, but this is what the documents say. Over 3,000 nautical mile range. It can get as good a fuel economy as 1 gallon per hour. Now, I will believe it when I see it. I don't know exactly what speed that's at, but supposedly it's possible. And that gets into like sailboat motor. The little tiny 40 horsepower Yanmars we had in our first sailboat would get half to 3/4 gallon per hour in each engine. So this, in theory, could be as efficient as our sailboat while motoring. Throw on a kite, you extend that. Put on some fancy props that increase the efficiency, we can go even further, burn even less fuel. So I'm very, very excited about this setup. What I'm not so excited about.
The obvious.
This is not an engine room. Most of the trawlers have this big engine room in the 50 to 60 foot range where you could either crawl in, but you have lots of space, or you can actually stand in and work on the engines.
That's in the 65 foot range.
Yeah, in the mid 60s, yes, for sure, 100%. We saw some in the upper 50s that were like almost standing height.
True.
So for us, you can see, I can't stand in here. I can barely get in here. This is a shaft drive, but it's a V style shaft. I believe it goes like this and then goes like this. It is crammed in here. I have no idea how I'm going to service it. According to the builder, everything that needs to be serviced is reachable. And there's panels on the side and in the front so we can access different areas of this engine. That said, there's only one engine, so that was another thing for us. There's no get home motor on this boat. We don't have full hydraulics. We do have a generator, so in theory we could put an electric motor. And if we upgrade the lithium and connect it to our generator, we could have a separate electric motor that would be our get home motor, our emergency motor. We are looking into that. I thought about pods. We talked to the yard here and they said maybe the safest thing to do is to put in another shaft with an electric motor. I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna do. We also thought about retractable, motor that comes up. There's lots of options, but we can make this into a hybrid or a full electric / full diesel. there's so many options. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be quite a journey, and we have a lot to learn. Yeah.
So any boat is obviously full of compromises, and the compromise for this boat, in order to have all of this living space and to have 2 cabins and everything else in a 50-foot boat, there are other areas that were sacrificed for that. And obviously the engine room was one of those. So there are others. We're slowly starting to discover them, but we can't point out everything today. It's just way too much. And this is a super fast trip for us because we've only had a couple of days here, and we have to go back because we still have the Baja 1000 to do. So we're trying to, get everything done as fast as humanly possible. But now it is time to talk about the auction and how we ended up actually getting this boat for essentially half its value.
This is the first auction event that we have ever been involved in, like on this scale. I mean, sure, we did some charity auction events.
They were pretty small.
Yeah, back in the day, they were like localized to Dallas, but this is a totally different ball game. And let me just tell you, when you hear the word auction, or when I hear the word auction, as an American, I think negative. I think something's wrong with that boat, estate sale,
repossession.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say confiscated.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, somebody didn't pay their bill. Like, I don't know, but it's usually a negative reason, or like a death or something happened. But usually there's some reason that a boat ends up on auction, and rarely is it good. Or a car, or a house, or anything else. Even when we called our maritime attorney to tell him what we had done and we might need some help, he was like, "Oh no, what's wrong with that boat? Have you already done? Is it a done deal?" Like,
You could still get out. I can get you out. I can get you out. Do you want the boat? Blink twice.
He sort of had a mild heart attack for us because he was like, "Excuse me, what?" Like, which was the reaction of every single person we've told so far. They're like, "What? What do you mean? But what about survey? What about sea trawl?" You're like,
No, we don't get that.
"Yeah."
So here's how auctions work here. It's very normalized.
Very typical, common.
Yes,
Thing here.
especially at this marina, or maybe this brokerage all around Europe. I'm not sure, but this marina specifically, they accept certain boats that are of certain quality, and they make sure they are functioning. You can call them, you can get information, you can get photos, they do videos.
And they have viewing days. We just we're
We're going to
not
book
here.
a flight to fly halfway around the world to look at another boat again that we can't afford. So
Right, exactly. So it's not like it didn't make sense for us to come. Because the whole time, never in our wildest dreams did we think we were getting this boat.
No.
So and none of it was all kind of pie in the sky.
So the seller can set a reserve price. So say, for example, the seller wants to make $1 million. So he can say, I want a minimum of $1 million. People can bid at starting at, like, I think for this one, it was 250,000.
Yeah, which was clearly not going to
Yeah.
be anywhere near his actual reserve. So it's just an opening bid.
It gets excitement. It gets people like interested in people bidding because they're like, oh, if nobody else bids, maybe I can get a $400,000 boat, you know?
Right, but at the end of the day, you're like, there's a reserve, and this guy isn't going to give his boat away for pennies, because who does that?
Yeah. So he's protected. Us, on the other hand, we don't get a survey. We don't get a sea trial. We had no idea if this boat would be, I mean, we knew it was in good condition because we saw it briefly.
But we didn't, like, the engine didn't get started. We don't know if anything works. Like, I mean, you're kind of going on good faith, and like you ask the guys, but I mean, also American mentality, you don't trust a broker. Like, what's wrong with you? You know? And you're like, I know that, the Dutch are supposed to be good, and they're very straightforward. Like, they just tell
mince
you.
their words,
They
yeah.
do not mince words. Yeah, it can be very offensive to some other cultures, like, because they are so straightforward. I actually personally appreciate that, because you don't feel like you have to read in between the lines. You know exactly what you're getting with the Dutch. Like, they're friendly, they're nice, but very straightforward. Which is very helpful in this situation, seemingly.
Yeah. So we kind of set a budget in our mind. We're like, we're going to lowball it. And because we can't get a survey, we can't get a sea trial, all that stuff, we're like, we don't have any protection, so we're going to lowball it. And
There's no warranty. There's no nothing, right? Like, so you have no fallbacks if something's wrong, something doesn't work. That was all on you. Because, I mean, you're allowed to do your due diligence and your checks and things, but not a survey or a sea trial.
yeah. So we set a budget and it was super low, which is great that it's an auction because you're not going to offend anybody by offering up a fraction of what they want.
Right. So it's a anonymous thing.
Yeah, it is anonymous.
Yeah.
So we set a budget of 800,000 US dollars. We're not going to pay anything more than that.
Which is still insane.
Yeah.
Because on both ends, like, it's a lot of money for something you cannot survey, you cannot sea trial, you don't have any guarantees. And on the other hand, for the seller, that's not enough money. So, like, especially, we're talking 800,000 US dollars. This boat
was originally listed at 1.7 something million euros.
We were way under, which is also, again, we were like, it's
Monopoly
not,
money. It's not real. We're never going to win.
Yeah, it was just like, we're going to participate in this thing. We're going to do it just because, but there's no way.
Yeah, so I logged in, I created an account. Turns out the website that the auction was run through, they sell art, cool cars, they sell Lamborghinis, they sell like other boats, they have houses, they have everything. So this is super common here. So I created an account.
Well, any auction house would probably have a whole bunch of stuff for sale.
I guess so. Well, it's my first auction website to log into. So I created this account and then I did the minimum bid just so I could know how the process works. And I put in whatever it was, 300,000 at that time. And I was the winning bid for like a week until somebody else came in and bid more.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there was like 19 bidders and then there was 20 bidders. And then, but it all happened last minute, which is typical. So
The last
we've been told.
48 hours, I think everybody was coming in, signing up and just putting a bid in so they understood exactly how it worked.
Yeah.
24 hours before the close, we started watching it a lot closer. And that's when somebody outbid our maximum bid. And he was on an auto bid, he or she was on an auto bid. So every time I bid, he would win. I'm just going to call him he. He would win. Sorry.
Because this is males talking and it's a competition. It had to have been a him.
Yes, he wanted to win more than me. So then I put in another one and he won. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to do the tactic. So I did whatever the bid was, the next bid was plus $1. Boom! I win. It ended his auto bid. Yes, I am the best. We have 20 hours left. The next day, we wake up in the morning. It's like 7 in the morning for us in California. The bidding ends at 9 a.m. or whatever. And oh my gosh, the stress was palpable, the excitement.
Yeah, except for the fact that it was like still not. Like we weren't even like, we got a couple of shots. We did not actually. I was like, I'm not even filming this. This is pointless. We're not winning this boat. We're not willing. Like we've already been outbid. Like we're not doing any more. This is ridiculous. We're watching to watch because we're morbid curiosity more than anything.
But that morning he had outbid us and outbid our maximum.
Yeah.
So we are now over our 800,000. The next bid is 840,000 because it goes up in $40,000 increments, which is insane to me.
Yeah, because you were like, what happened to 10?
$1.
Because it was like, but it was like 5 and then 10
always,
or whatever, but it was lower amounts. And then all of a sudden, as the price point got higher, the bid increase got higher. That we did not, there was loss we didn't expect. We didn't expect that. So then all of a sudden it was like, oh. So then we had this long debate of like, but I mean, it's the best. It's the best on our list.
We could have a home. Like we could have a home tomorrow.
And the thing was, is we kept looking at whatever else was on our list, and we were like, okay, these other boats are like similar price point.
$200,000 worth of upgrades that we need to do. This one's so much better, you know, all the navigation.
Yes, it's like we were kind of like talking ourselves into it a little bit, but we were like, but no survey, no sea trial, like. That's a lot of risk. Like, we already set a budget for this, and now look at us. So sure enough, we were like, okay, one more bid. But again, freaking $40,000. So it's not like a small amount of money. So we hit the bid.
Yep, we hit the bid, and then he outbid us with 5 minutes left. And I thought, that's it. It's done. It's done. Walk away. And then 2 minutes before it was going to end, we decided to put in one last bid.
Yeah. It wasn't it was $20,000 because we were $40,000 over.
I don't remember. It was just big jumps. This, like I said, Monopoly money.
Yes.
This wasn't. Yeah.
Our memories are not even great. Yeah. So we were $20,000 over now. $20,001 over.
Yeah. And so we put in the final bid that we thought, this is it. There's a few seconds left. I'm going to hit the button right at the last second. And this is my final bid. I'm going to walk away. So 5, 4, 3, boom. I hit the enter. I have the highest bid. The timer resets. It gives like another 3 minutes. And I thought, you son of a... So for 3 minutes, we sat there.
And stared at a computer screen.
With our coffee, thinking...
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We felt so betrayed because you're like, no, there was no more time left. But I get it. It's giving everybody else that, like, you know, if you were at an auction house, you'd hear the guy. Exactly. And so that's what it was doing. Then we were like, no, that is really it.
Really
like,
it.
we are not doing this anymore. This is a losing game. Like, we're just going to be out a whole bunch of money. And then what if that boat doesn't work? And then we're royally screwed. So we're like, that's it. Just walk away, like step away from the buttons. Like, because the problem is it's also just a button.
Yeah.
Like, it still feels like not real. Yeah. And then
our bid is so low compared to what we knew he wanted.
And that was the other thing is we're sitting here kind of stressing out and like laboring over all of this. And we're not, it doesn't matter. The seller's not going to let the boat go for this anyway. So none of this is just ridiculous. It's Monopoly money. It just step away from the computer.
My heart's pumping right now just thinking about it. And I feel like I'm stumbling all over myself because it's like, dum.
Because it felt like stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gambling with it is a gamble and it is a lot of money. And we were just like, this is insane. We shouldn't. Like, and then you're having like remorse for even hitting the button because you're like, we went over our budget.
Can I hit undo? undo?
We went over our budget. We weren't supposed to go over the budget. And then
the clock
ticks
down and just ends. No email. No message. At this point, it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. here.
And it just said auction ended.
Yep.
And so we were like, well, I mean, as far as we know, that was it. We were the highest bid. So did we just
win a boat?
But we were like, well, no, because how do we even know about the reserve?
Yeah.
But like, so nothing happened immediately. Not like you met the reserve. So then when nothing happened, we were like, oh, we definitely didn't meet the reserve. This is done.
It's nighttime here. It's morning in California where we were. And the entire day, nothing.
No.
We wake up in the morning the next day,
Still nothing.
Nikki comes and sits down on the sofa. I hand her coffee and she goes, still nothing? And I said, yeah, still nothing. Bring! Email came through right then. Congratulations. You are the winning bid. Oh, the owner has agreed to accept your offer.
Your offer, which, again, we did not think was going to happen. I am actually sweating.
Yeah.
Now thinking about it.
Yeah.
Wow. Because, then you're going, okay.
Damn. Okay.
Not only that, the information within the like congratulations. It's like, congratulations.
Here's the invoice.
Here's the invoice. This is the amount of money you owe with the like extra auction fees and everything else all tacked in there. You have 5 days to move the money and then like however many days
to sign the paperwork and
take handover. Otherwise we'll start to charge you because now this boat, it's supposed to be yours and it needs to be moved.
So, yeah. I call the bank. This is, meanwhile, Thursday, mid-morning in California. I call the bank. I try to figure out the best way, the most affordable way to move that much money via wire transfer, convert it to euros, get it out here. How fast, how long is it going to take?
Am I allowed to drain my bank account?
Yeah. Is the government going to get mad at me for pulling this much out of a U.S. bank? I have no idea. Like, all these thoughts are just rushing through my head. And I'm able to do it.
I mean, a bank will let you have your money.
I had a maximum amount that I could transfer, so I wire transferred my money to Wise, and then I converted it within Wise, and then sent it via Wise because it saved me like $20,000 in fees to send the money via Wise versus my normal bank, which totally blew my mind.
Just the conversion fees.
Yeah.
the conversion fees alone, or not fees, but just the rate at which
rates.
they give you.
Yeah.
And like typically, you know, when you're dealing with like a credit card transaction, it's like $20 or $30, right? Is what you're charging. So you don't really
no big deal.
think
Yeah.
about it all that much.
But when it's $1 million almost, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now it's the end of the day, Friday. The money is there. We're in contact with the brokerage here. On Saturday morning, he reaches out and says, yes, you can come to the boat and you can stay on the boat and you can sign the paperwork when you get here. Nikki immediately gets online, books
flights.
tickets, a 12-hour cattle class trip from LAX to Amsterdam, and
Yeah,
we're
and every
signing papers.
yeah, it just, and then they give you the keys and they bring us on the boat, and they're very nice, you know, like they're you know, happy to walk us through, answer any questions. They're trying to help us out as much as possible as far as like, here's your boat, how can we help you understand it? Here's all your manuals and everything that came with the boat. Here's all the keys. Here's the, you know, and we know nothing about the boat. I mean, yes, we poured over the listing, this, that, and the other, but that is no substitute for truly knowing a vessel. And it felt unreal. It still feels unreal.
Yeah. And basically, after we turn off the camera, we're going to pack our bags and head back to California and then drive the van down to Baja, because we have already committed ourselves to racing in the Baja 1000.
Yep,
we have a team.
We paid all of our money. Like we have our team that's counting on us. So like there's no backing out of that one either. And that was not a cheap endeavor. But we also thought, we don't have a boat and our expenses are pretty low right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then we proceeded to drain our bank account and
fly halfway around the world and stress ourselves out.
Put everything we had into a vessel that we still yet have not moved.
Turned the key.
Yeah, we haven't driven this boat.
Well, we can't drive it until we get insurance. If somebody hits us here on the dock, the marina has insurance and these other boats have insurance. If we take it off of this dock, that could be bad.
Right, and we feel like we've already risked plenty. At this point, we probably should not rock the boat. Yeah. So we do hopefully have insurance maybe by tomorrow.
Today or tomorrow, it should finally come through.
I mean, it's all happened
very
crazy
very
fast.
Yeah, but we have a home, and I can't tell you how good that feels. We have been houseless for
Well, okay, the crazy thing is, like, it's only been since February.
Yeah, but then like the whole year before that.
No, I know. It's been it's been chaos, and it's felt unsteady and untethered for a long time now for us. Feels like eternity. And then it's like we sort of picked ourselves up, dusted ourselves off, got back on the boat shopping bandwagon, and have slowly gained like momentum and excitement and kind of a path forward, right? Like we figured out what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go. The journey itself is like a huge part of the decision-making process, because obviously that determines what vessel do you need to go on that journey. And then now here we are, but we just didn't expect it to happen this fast and
this way.
No, I mean, so in essentially 6 months, we did a bunch of research, kind of figured out what we wanted, and bam,
2 days bought a boat.
We knew we wanted to put in an offer, but we were like, we'll put in a couple of offers. Maybe one will get accepted. You do a survey, a sea trial, like, and we also were still thinking we need to go look at these boats before we even put in an offer.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's been quite the journey, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I mean, without your support,
we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, who knows where we would be.
Yeah, and we certainly wouldn't have had the cojones to drain our bank account.
Oh yeah, so many of you have just really helped back us in the whole Explorer Yacht adventure.
Yeah, just with all the help, the advice, the invitations, like people have sent us their budgets, trying to help us like
fuel budgets.
Yeah, understand what we're getting ourselves into, just everything. So yeah, having community has been huge, and it sort of gives us the confidence to make sometimes potential brave, stupid. Yeah. It's a fine line. Which side of that line do you think we're on? I don't know. I don't know which side of the line I'm on at this point.
I do feel like this is the right adventure. No, the right vessel for our next adventure, because this boat is built for cold latitudes.
Yeah. It was built for the Scandinavian market. Yeah. That's
That's where we're going.
That's right. The Dutch are just so well known for aluminum and steel yachts. All the ones that were our biggest potentials, the highest on our list, most of them were here. So it was already in the wheelhouse of what we were looking at. We just were very thankful that the seller decided to
Accept the offer.
Because otherwise we wouldn't have gone into this vessel. So we're very grateful, I think, at the same exact time, which sounds crazy. It was a risk for him. He lost a lot of money.
But he wants to see this boat in good hands and
Doing what it was
the
meant
email
to
he
do.
sent us. Yeah, I want to see it free and out doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, so he was happy to see that we were the winners of the boat as well. So that feels good. Like we feel like we've still got a connection with the original owner. He's already moved on to a whole nother project and got another boat build going and endeavor at that front. So maybe we'll go meet him at some point, get to hear a bit more about what his intentions were with some of the features on this boat, because there are some that are a bit more complicated than what we're used to. But
Some wild ones. I can't wait to share.
Yes.
Do a proper tour and show you all the toys and the tools that are on this boat.
And then, of course, the upgrades, adding the stabilizers, the electric side of things, the kite, like we have so much to figure out. But that is future us projects, because right now we just stepped aboard our new home and now we have to leave it again. But only for a couple of weeks.
It's
so.
winter here anyway, so, you know.
That's right. It doesn't look like it today. Every day has been cold and rainy and typical. And then today it is
beautiful.
stunning and you want to take this boat out so bad. We cannot stand ourselves, but we have no insurance, so we will wait.
We also have to figure out how we can stay in the European Union for more than 6 months. Lots to figure out.
Right. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of the journey. There is lots of excitement coming up. Please join us for the Baja 1000. As excited as I am about this boat, we've been working towards that and team meetings for the last year. And it is the craziest,
Coolest.
Mad Max adventure.
It's been a dream since I was a kid to drive in the Baja, to see those crazy ass people on the side of a dirt road with a monster truck just flying through at 100 miles an hour, this close to the people. Oh, I just remember as a kid thinking that was the coolest thing.
Because it is the coolest thing. Now it's going to, that's why I'm like, I feel like we've signed on to a lot of crazy stuff this year. And Antarctica, I'm so excited about Antarctica, more so than I already was, because now we Icebird was built here in the Netherlands as well. Also an aluminum ship. So being able to step aboard, go to Antarctica on that boat, I'm going to take so many notes and I have so many questions for the crew. Because it's like, how do I prepare my own boat so that I can do this same exact thing? So anyway, it's all very exciting. Lots to look forward to in the next, even just 3 months. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's going to be intense.
All right, sending love, guys. We got to go pack and get the heck out of here.
Yes, very true. All right.
Bye.
Right after I drink my tea.
Well, I want to start packing.